Hello everyone, and welcome to Escape to Books. My name is Sarah, and as of yesterday, I started my book channel, and today I finished both the books I said I was going to finish. So I'm going to do a review of both books because I didn't feel like this was going to be a very long video otherwise, and since I finished them both, I would go ahead and do both. So, first, I finished Murder in Mesopotamia by Agatha Christie. I have some notes here, so excuse the notepad. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I really love Agatha Christie books, and mainly because they're some of the few mysteries that I've ever read that I can never guess who did it, right? And that's the best part. So, one thing that Perot said in this book that really stood out and really kind of gave me a aha moment was a saying that he had said a couple times in this book, and he said, "Murder is a habit." And isn't that true? Another thing that I really enjoyed in this book was the narration. One of the few books that I've seen so far that was narrated. I listened to the audiobook for this, but it was narrated by a woman, and in not just the audiobook portion, but also like from the POV perspective. Nurse Leatheram was the narrator, and I thought she was a welcome change from his normal companion. Because I'm not a huge fan of his normal companion. I don't know why. He doesn't rub me the wrong way or anything. I just think he's kind of bland. Not a very good Watson. But she, on the other hand, was very good. She was very clear and concise, and she could read people's emotions really well. Another thing that I want to talk about in this was I was slightly bored, like I said yesterday in my first video, with the book. Mainly because it was one murder in the whole thing that I thought. And then all of a sudden there was another one before I even talked to you guys before. So there were 2 murders in this. Hopefully you've read it before. Spoiler warning. And after that second murder, it really started to pick up, and it attracted my attention. In the first part, it just seemed a lot like kind of repetitive because you went through it all with the nurse, and then Perot shows up like halfway in the book, and then you have to kind of backtrack and learn where everybody was again, and it was a little repetitive. But then as soon as that second murder happened, it ramped up, and she always recaptures me with her endings anyway, even if one of them is kind of boring from the beginning. And I always end up really enjoying it and giving it, 4 stars. I don't think there's been one yet that I haven't given it at least 4 stars. The second murder, like I said, was a shock, and I didn't see it coming. I also didn't see the ending. Now, I'm not going to give that away, but I never would have guessed. I thought it was somebody completely different, and that's usually the way it is for me for Agatha Christie. Like, I can't see them at all. And that's part of the enjoyment for me, is I can't guess it for once, and I think that's worth saying. I mean, I really enjoyed it. The second book I finished was Butcher Baker and Butcher Baker Candlestick Taker by Patricia Meredith. I gave it a 5 out of 5. At first, I gave it a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads, mainly because this book was really slow for me. And I don't really know why. The pacing was good. It just took me a while to get into the characters. There were a lot for the size book that it was. It's only about 330 pages. And it took me a while to finally fully flesh out what everybody would look like in my mind's eye, and how the town would be. And since it's a place that I've never been to, Spokane, I didn't really have a preference for it. So I ended up on YouTube watching a video about the Great Spokane Fire, which is in this book occasionally, from 1889, and kind of watched some videos and saw what it kind of looked like, and that helped me a lot. I love the setting, and I love that it was a time before cell phones, and even before automobiles, and before internet, and before, I think, maybe telephones, and like handheld watches was the big thing in this. I love the conversation between two of the characters about how people were kind of less friendly now because of the coming technologies, and how, you know, it kind of made me like dig into how we are now, and it was kind of like sobering because of, you know, the way society is today, and how somebody could look at back then and be like, you know, this, I don't really like the way the technology is going, and it was just a really cool perspective for something like that. I really enjoyed the humor of the two Carew brothers, who were the detectives in this. There are more characters who also help along with the murder, but for the most part, the two Carew brothers are part of who you're going with. It is a multiple POV. Also, I'll try not to give too much away in this if nobody's read it yet. Another book, like the Agatha Christie book, that I was completely surprised about who did it. The person I thought who did it all along was wrong. However, towards the end, I did eventually guess who it was, but I think it is a little obvious, but also it wasn't a bad thing. Like, you wanted this person to be like, yay, okay, yeah, you do it. Like, and you'll understand once you read the book. I immediately, after I finished this, I wanted to reread it, because there was so much, there was a few twists that I was like, man, I can't believe that was that person, and I wanted to go back and see, you know, or read through maybe a different perspective then, because something that I completely thought was a male character was not a male character, and it was very surprising for me, like, and it ramped up the reading for me, because just like in the Agatha Christie book, I went from, man, I'm a little slow at this, you know, to all of a sudden I'm full in, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I gotta say that I can't wait to read book 2. I'm in a position right now where I can't buy anything, which is really sad, but I will eventually buy book 2, and I believe there's a book 3 out now. So, like I said, this was a beginning, like a 4 out of 5, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, no, that's a 5 out of 5 book, because I can't stop thinking about how it went, and I thought it was very good. And I believe that is it for my review. Please like, subscribe, and join me for the next one. Thank you.